The Miami Dolphins were busy this Tuesday, making a significant roster move that could impact the upcoming divisional matchup. Miami has officially signed former first-round pick Cole Strange, a guard out of Chattanooga, who was recently with the Browns practice squad. Strange, originally drafted by the New England Patriots in 2022, now joins Miami's active 53-man roster. To create space for the signing, the Dolphins placed a player on injured reserve. It's a tough decision, but one that reflects the team's need to strengthen the offensive line. With injuries affecting Austin Jackson and James Daniels, General Manager Chris Grier clearly wanted to add depth and experience before facing a tough Patriots front this weekend. Back-end index pointing right. Before we continue with the latest details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss breaking news on your Miami Dolphins. Now let's get back into it. Strange's arrival is interesting not just because of his first-round pedigree, but also because of the history. Back in 2022, his selection at pick 29 shocked many around the league, with even the Rams' front office caught on camera reacting in disbelief. Now, 2 years later, Miami hopes his potential can translate into valuable snaps, especially as the offensive line continues to shuffle. This move adds intrigue ahead of Sunday's game against his former team, the Patriots. Will Strange be a depth piece, or can he quickly step into a meaningful role? Dolphins fans will be watching closely. Cole Strange's journey has been anything but smooth. After playing every single snap as a rookie with New England, his career took a sharp turn when he tore his patellar tendon in 2023, an injury that can be devastating for offensive linemen. The recovery sidelined him for most of that season, and lingering setbacks limited him to just a couple of appearances in 2024. By the time training camp rolled around this year, Strange was clearly behind in the Patriots' rotation. New England eventually released him, and he found a temporary spot on Cleveland's practice squad. Now, Miami steps in, giving him a new opportunity to reset his career. Strange has experience across the interior offensive line, logging nearly 1,000 snaps at left guard in his rookie season. But when he returned from injury, the Patriots shifted him to center, where he saw limited action. His performance has been mixed, steady in pass protection at times, but inconsistent in run blocking. 8 sacks allowed and 10 penalties tell the story of a player still searching for consistency. What stands out most is his profile. Strange isn't the classic road grader you expect inside. He's more athletic than powerful. That style worked at Chattanooga, where his quickness gave him an edge. But in the NFL, where interior defenders combine size and explosiveness, he struggled to hold his ground. For the Dolphins, though, this is a calculated gamble. Depth on the offensive line is always at a premium, and if Strange can regain confidence and adapt his athletic traits to Miami's system, he could carve out a meaningful role. When Cole Strange entered the league, his athletic profile was eye-catching. At Chattanooga, his relative athletic score was nearly perfect, speed, agility, and explosiveness all tested at elite levels. But the one area that stood out in red was his weight, and that has followed him into the NFL. Against powerful defensive linemen, he struggled to generate the push needed to open running lanes, a problem that has limited his impact at the professional level. For Miami, Strange arrives as a depth piece rather than an immediate starter. His experience at both guard and center gives him versatility, but the Dolphins already have players in place who are more familiar with the system. Veterans like Daniel Brunskill and younger options such as Kean Smith are ahead of him on the depth chart. And once Liam Eichenberg and Andrew Meyer return from injured reserve and the PUP list, Strange may find himself on the outside looking in. Still, the timing of his signing makes sense. The Dolphins were forced to place right guard James Daniels on injured reserve after he left Sunday's game just 3 snaps in. Daniels is eligible to return in Week 6 when Miami faces the Chargers, but until then, the team needed another interior option on the roster. Strange provides insurance, experienced, available, and capable of stepping in if called upon. Looking ahead, Week 6 against the Los Angeles Chargers looms as a potentially pivotal matchup for Miami. If the Dolphins can string together 3 or 4 wins before then, that game could carry real weight in the AFC standings. One key storyline is whether James Daniels will be back in time. According to reports, his pec injury is expected to sideline him for 3 to 4 weeks. Thankfully, not a season-ending tear. That puts him on track to be eligible for a return right around that Chargers game. Still, the frustration is real. Miami's projected starting offensive line, Wynn, Feeney, Brewer, Daniels, and Jackson barely saw the field together. In fact, they lasted only 3 snaps before Daniels exited, and now Jackson is banged up as well. The unit that looked so promising on paper has yet to build any real chemistry. So the Dolphins will lean on depth, and the next man up mentality is already being tested. On Sunday, Kean Smith stepped into Daniels' spot and logged 44 snaps against the Colts. With New England up next, he's expected to hold down the right guard position again. Smith may not have been part of the original plan, but his ability to fill the gap will be critical as Miami navigates this early stretch of the season. With James Daniels now on injured reserve, the Dolphins' offensive line continues to shuffle. Daniels joins Liam Eichenberg, who remains on the PUP list, and Andrew Meyer, also on IR. That means Miami's starting 5, at least for now, looks like Patrick Paul, Isaiah Wynn, Aaron Brewer, Kean Smith, and a to-be-determined right tackle depending on Austin Jackson's status. Cole Strange slides in as a depth option who can cover both guard spots, while Daniel Brunskill provides additional versatility on the interior. If Smith were to struggle or suffer an injury, Brunskill could be asked to step in. As for Smith, his Week 1 performance against Indianapolis deserves credit. Thrust into action, he logged 44 snaps, essentially the entire game, and managed to keep the offense afloat despite the sudden lineup change. For a player not originally projected to start, that showing offers some encouragement as Miami prepares for tougher challenges ahead. Pro Football Focus didn't give Kean Smith much credit for his Week 1 performance, but the tape tells a more balanced story. Yes, there were mistakes, but Smith allowed only 1 pressure and committed no penalties across 44 snaps. For a player unexpectedly thrust into the lineup, that's a respectable effort. The bigger issues on offense came from Tua Tagovailoa, struggles with accuracy, holding the ball too long, and moments of hesitation in the pocket. Still, it's far from an ideal situation. Just 2 weeks into the season, Miami's right guard and right tackle combination is already in flux. James Daniels is sidelined for at least 4 games, and Austin Jackson's status remains uncertain due to a lingering toe injury. That injury kept him out of the entire preseason and joint practices, and the team is still seeking clarity on how long he might be out. The timing couldn't be tougher. Up next is New England, a team that just bolstered its pass rush with Harold Landry. In his Patriots debut, Landry recorded 5 tackles and 2.5 sacks while generating consistent pressure. If Miami is forced to rely on a patchwork right side of the line, with players like Smith and Larry Borom handling those duties, protecting Tua could become a serious concern. The strength of New England is clear, their defense. The Patriots' pass rush is loaded with talent and versatility, anchored by one of the toughest interior duos in the league, Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. Williams, in particular, was dominant in Week 1, winning nearly a quarter of his pass rush snaps against the Raiders. Add in Harold Landry, Clavon Chaisson, and Keon White, and it's a front that can create havoc from every angle. The possible return of cornerback Christian Gonzalez only makes the challenge more difficult. Gonzalez is already viewed as one of the top young corners in football, and his presence could tighten the coverage on Miami's receivers, forcing Tua and the offense to rely on timing and precision. That raises the biggest concern. Can the Dolphins' offense move the ball effectively against this group? Against Indianapolis, the rhythm wasn't there, and with injuries to the offensive line, Miami may again be starting 2 backups on the right side. Protecting Tua and finding balance on offense will be critical if they hope to avoid stalling drives. Ultimately, this game has the feel of a must-win. To come out on top, the Dolphins will need more physicality, more discipline, and sharper execution. And if the offense can't find its rhythm, it will be up to the defense to set the tone and give Miami the best chance to pull off a divisional victory.